every iconic player who retired from 2000 to 2025. Let's get to it. Let's start with the king of chaos himself, Eric Cantona. Cantona officially quit in 1997, but his aura never really left the game. He kept showing up in beach soccer, charity matches, and fashion ads like a football ghost that wouldn't sit still. Every now and then, rumors flew around about a return, but Cantona preferred art house films and existential monologues over training sessions. He retired in 2000 at 30. No injury, no pressure, no scandal, just pure Cantona chaos. One day, he was scoring screamers at Old Trafford. The next, he was reading poetry on French TV. His legs could still go, but his mind had already moved on to directing. He'd won 4 Premier League titles in 5 seasons with Manchester United, changed the culture, wore his collar up like a king, and then walked away like he was bored of winning. Zinedine Zidane. He didn't just retire. He exploded off the pitch, literally headbutted his way out of football history. 2006 World Cup final, his final game. One more trophy up for grabs, and boom, he got a red card to Materazzi's chest. He still won the golden ball that tournament, because when Zidane's good, he's that good. Headbutt or not, he carried France to the final. Scored a Panenka in a World Cup final. At age 34, who does that? He never played club football again after that. No post-retirement MLS tour, no press conference tour. Just vanished, like a magician who ends the trick and walks out of the theatre. And somehow, the headbutt didn't ruin his legacy. It made him more mythical, more human, more Zidane. Ronaldo Nazario. Ronaldo had 2 working knees for maybe half his career. Still scored over 400 goals, still won 2 World Cups, still embarrassed more defenders than FIFA Street. By 2011, his body gave up. He was at Corinthians, scoring occasionally and sweating profusely. He blamed hypothyroidism for the weight gain. But honestly, the man already proved everything by age 25. He officially retired at 34. But let's be real, the knees retired around 2006. It just took a few years for the rest of him to catch up. His touch was still silk, but his pace? Gone. His stamina? Not invited. Now here's the scary part. Even with all the injuries, he's still one of the most feared strikers ever. If he had modern medicine, Messi and Ronaldo might have had to split 3rd place. Luis Figo. Figo bowed out after winning Serie A with Inter Milan. No tears, no documentary, just a casual, yeah, that's enough kind of retirement. He was once the most expensive player in football. The man who swapped Barcelona for Real Madrid and got a pig's head thrown at him for it. A proper villain arc with world-class dribbling. By 2009, the legs slowed down, but the passing brain still ticked. He ended his career with over 100 assists and barely any noise. Just slipped into retirement like he slipped past defenders. It felt weird. He didn't even milk it. No final speech, no emotional interview. Just left the building like a footballing James Bond. Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry's last goal came in the MLS. But don't let that fool you. The man was elegance with a first touch. Arsenal's record scorer, a World Cup winner, and he made defenders look like mannequins. He retired at 37 in 2014 after a steady run with the New York Red Bulls. Still had some goals left, but he figured it was time to swap boots for suits. And somehow, he made punditry look just as slick. No grand press conference, no fireworks, just an Instagram post, a little French caption. The end of a legendary run, announced like he was quitting a WhatsApp group. Michael Owen? Owen was done at 33 in 2013. But honestly, his golden years ended before social media even existed. He won the Ballon d'Or at 21, then spent the next decade getting injured at every club he joined. His final stop? Stoke City. Yes, that's Stoke. It felt like watching a supercar try to drive on gravel. There were flickers of brilliance, but the hamstrings had other plans. At his peak, he was unstoppable, lightning fast, ice-cold finisher. That Argentina goal in '98 is still on loop in English football dreams. But after 2004, his career was just a medical report. The fireworks stopped early, and retirement came like a mercy rule. David Beckham? Beckham retired in May 2013 at PSG. It was one of those emotional nights where even the substitutes looked teary-eyed. 20 minutes in, the crowd stood. Teammates clapped. Beckham cried. He won trophies in England, Spain, the USA, and France. That's 4 countries, 4 leagues. And in every one of them, he became a brand. That right foot was a marketing weapon. His retirement wasn't just the end of a football career. It was like the end of a global franchise. He walked off with his hair perfect and probably signed a shoe deal 5 minutes later. Paul Scholes. Scholes retired in 2011, then got bored. Literally rejoined United 6 months later because they needed a midfielder. Bought his boots from the club shop. Didn't even tell the media. He finally called it quits in 2013. Quietly. No testimonial, no PR team. Just faded away like a ghost with an elite passing range. He has never loved the spotlight. Never chased headlines. Just pinged 40-yard balls like he was breathing. You won't find many interviews or celebrations, but ask any player who the best was. They'll probably say Scholes. Kaka had that one perfect year in 2007. Ballon d'Or, Champions League, defenders spinning like Beyblades. Then came the injuries. Real Madrid got the broken version. He still had moments, but the magic faded. MLS gave him one last dance with Orlando City. Fewer goals. Still more elegance than the whole league combined. He retired at 35 in 2017 with a classy letter to fans. No Netflix document. Just some tears, some gratitude, and a reminder that nice guys can win Ballon d'Ors. If his knees had cooperated, Messi and Ronaldo might have had fewer trophies. Steven Gerrard, let's not lie, we all remember the slip. Gerrard fell, Chelsea scored. Liverpool's title, hopes died. It's brutal, but that doesn't define him. He retired at 36 in 2016 after finishing in LA Galaxy. Fewer trophies, but a loyalty that made him eternal at Anfield. He wrote a book, became a manager, but you could tell he never really let that one moment go. You don't captain your club for a decade and leave without scars. And yet, no one questions the legacy. You just don't forget a player like that, unless you're Dembaba. Frank Lampard. Lampard was a human spreadsheet. Goals from midfield. Every season, no drama, just goals, interviews, and more goals. He ended his career at NYCFC in 2016, age 38. He'd had enough Uber rides to away matches, still scoring, but ready to swap boots for touchlines. He went on to manage Derby, then Chelsea. The less we say about the second part, the better. Not everyone transitions smoothly. But as a player, the man was inevitable. If the ball dropped at the edge of the box, you knew what was coming. Before we continue, tap that subscribe button like it's a last-minute penalty. Don't let these bite-sized football stories slip past you. Didier Drogba. Drogba's last competitive goal wasn't in the Champions League. It was in Phoenix. Yes, Arizona. Yes, the USL. The man was 40 and still bullying defenders half his age. But let's rewind to 2012. The header against Bayern, the penalty, the stare, ice in his veins. He basically won the Champions League solo. By the end, he was still doing his thing. Big goals, big moments, big celebrations. His final game was a defeat, but even then, he looked like he could walk into a Premier League squad. He didn't retire quietly. He never did anything quietly. Andrea Pirlo. Pirlo's final match came in New York, surrounded by skyscrapers and teammates who couldn't pass like him on their best day. It was 2017, and he was 38, but still spraying passes like he had cheat codes. He never sprinted, never needed to. He walked across the pitch like it was his vineyard, letting the ball do all the work. His eyes saw things 2 passes ahead. Even at the end, his passing looked like slow-motion ballet. Defenders had no clue where the ball was going, and Pirlo barely looked interested while doing it. Arjen Robben. Robben retired in 2019, then unretired in 2020, because his left foot wasn't done humiliating fullbacks. So he returned to Groningen, the club where it all started. He was 37, still had that cut inside and shoot move on autopilot. Defenders knew it was coming and still couldn't stop it. He played a few matches, dropped a couple of vintage sprints, and then pulled a muscle. Classic Robben. Fast twitch meets fragile hamstrings. In 2021, he retired again, this time for good. Probably. Maybe, we think. Andres Iniesta. Iniesta left Barcelona in 2018. Emotional send-off. Grown men cried. Even Messi looked like he lost a piece of his soul. Then he spent 5 more years giving masterclasses in Japan and the UAE. At 39, he was still embarrassing midfielders half his age. He finally retired in 2023. No drama, just smooth control, quiet goodbye, and a midfield vacancy that still hasn't been filled. The man passed like a jazz musician, played like a whisper, left the game exactly how he played it, with class. Xavi Hernandez. Xavi's final game was with Al Sadd, Qatar. still bossing games at walking pace. He retired in 2019 at 39, then immediately became their manager, probably wrote his own retirement speech in a 4-3-3 formation. He was the heartbeat of every team he played in, always moving, always passing, always making you think, wait, didn't he just have the ball? No farewell tour, no long goodbye, just a seamless pass into coaching, like he subbed himself out and into a clipboard. Eden Hazard. Hazard left Chelsea as a hero, then joined Real Madrid and ghosted the world like he lost Wi-Fi. Injuries piled up. So did bench appearances. By the time he retired in 2023, he'd played more minutes on treatment tables than on the pitch. Only 32, still younger than half the League One goalkeepers. He went from Premier League wrecking ball to Real Madrid meme material in record time. Nobody saw it coming. When he announced his retirement, most people said, "Wait, already?" But the body said, no. And the sparkle was gone. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan retired at 41 in 2023. Because apparently, even gods get tired eventually. He scored goals in 6 different decades. Okay, not really, but it felt like it. His final club, AC Milan, still scoring, still growling, still doing post-match interviews like a WWE villain. He racked up 827 club appearances, nearly 500 goals, left behind more quotes than some philosophers. When he walked off, the stadium clapped, then paused, just to make sure he wasn't faking it. Gianluigi Buffon. Buffon finally stopped in 2023, age 45, and even then, he probably had one more save left in him. He ended where it all started, at Parma, Serie B, still yelling at defenders, still making saves that made no sense. Over 1,100 games, 176 caps for Italy, and a trophy cabinet that needed its own security guard. He didn't just age gracefully, he aged like an old castle. Sturdy, iconic, still standing. Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho should have owned football for 15 years. Instead, he showed up, made everyone fall in love, and then disappeared like a magician. He retired in 2015, but let's be honest, he stopped caring long before that. His final club, Fluminense, played 5 matches, looked like he was playing street ball in flip-flops. He smiled more than he ran, passed with no look, danced with defenders, and left defenders dizzy for years. His farewell wasn't sad, it was just surreal. Like, was he even real? So, who shocked you the most? Ronaldinho fading early? Or Zlatan aging like ancient wine? We've got way more stories like this coming. Like and subscribe, because you don't want to miss the day Messi and Ronaldo retires.